Introduction, take 1. Hey guys, Pie the Yummy here, glad to see you guys. I hate doing intros, but before we get started, I just wanted to say hello, to be nice. Hello guys, I'm here today, like every day, and I'm here with Gus Frango again, who will be editing some parts of this video. I'm not exactly sure what, but if you notice the editing gets better, that's probably going to be Gus. So yeah, thank Gus for any of the good editing. Today we're going to be talking about Bear. Remember that game? Roblox Bear? I actually used to be obsessed with those games, but yeah, we're going to be talking about it. Just basically all the little, all the little stuff, all the secrets, the badges, the story. We're gonna get into all the nitty gritty stuff. I think it'll be quite good. Hopefully you guys think it's quite good. Let's get into it. Badges. Alright, so if we're gonna be talking about badges, I don't really know what badges I'm gonna be talking about. I kinda just chose just random badges, and yes, you can get these. I feel like that's kinda obvious. Like, I noticed a lot of the badges, aren't obtainable anymore. Like, I was like, alright, I wanna show my viewers how to get this badge. So I go on the wiki page for it, and then they say, hey, you can't get this anymore. So that was a little bit annoying. But the first badge I'm gonna be talking about isn't actually obtainable anyway, so yeah, maybe skip this part, I don't know. But the first badge we're going to be talking about is the first day of April. And wouldn't you know, if you want to get this badge, you got to play Bear Alpha on the 1st of April. I think you can get this badge like on the 2nd and 3rd of April, but after that, it's donezo. Like, it's gone, alright? Actually, I just lied to you. There's a little bit more to that. You want to play the game on April 1st to 3rd, right? And if you want to vote for maps, you got to vote for this map called How Do I Know Tomorrow's Coming? Pretty weird map name, but you need to vote for this map, and if you get to this map, you're not going to be playing Bear. You're going to be playing a completely other game. So what's going to be happening is all the players in the game are going to be split into 2 teams, and basically you need to kill the opposing team, because everyone's going to be given a gun, and you're going to have to shoot the other people. Sounds pretty fun, right? Not only will you be given a gun, but you will also be given a quote-unquote swivel. This is something I learned just now, and if you want to know what a swivel is, it's apparently this spade or something, and basically you can dig underground. Pretty cool, right? And if you haven't noticed, this whole map, How Do I Know Tomorrow's Coming, is it's based off this old popular classic Roblox game by Stickmaster Luke, called The Underground War. So, that's pretty cool. So yeah, basically you're given the swivel, and yeah, what you want to do though, if you want to get this badge, is you gotta put your guns down, and you gotta not kill each other. You know what you gotta do? You gotta start digging. You want to get your swivel out, and you want to start digging it all. So, all the dirt? I haven't actually seen any footage of this, but apparently there's dirt or something, and you need to dig all of that out. Like, if you see dirt, it's gotta go, alright? You gotta get rid of it all, and once it's gone, you're gonna get that badge. Actually, that's a lie. Once you've dug it all up, you should see a badge giver. You want to touch that, and you will get your good old badge. But this doesn't matter anyway, because at the time of this recording, it is the 15th of April, which is a little bit late. But hey, if you've got a time machine, well, yeah, use it. Alright, so the next badge on our list is actually a badge that you can get. So you better buckle up and listen, because this could help you, alright? So, Unusual Authority is the name of this badge, and what you want to do is you want to vote for a map called The Killer, Bear and Area 51. Yep, pretty cool map name. You want to vote for it. So the player may need to be Bear for this. If you want to get this badge, you may need to be Bear. And basically what you want to do is, in this Area 51 thing, is you need to go outside, alright? And once you're outside, you need to go up a hill, alright? That is outside the Area 51 base. And this may take a while, because I did watch a video for this, right? And the guy who was going up the hill was having trouble getting up the hill. I'm not sure if you can see here. Hopefully I'll play a video of it, but it's kind of random. You need to keep jumping, and yeah, it may take a while. So yeah, just be ready to be patient. Anyways, at the top of this hill, you'll be greeted with an alien, and you don't care about this alien because you care about the blue button that's behind it. So when you see this blue button, obviously you need to press this blue button, duh. And once you've done that, that, you will need to go back down, back inside into Area 51, and you will need to find this weird-looking blue quote-unquote door. And I say quote-unquote door because it's not really a door, it's just this weird door, alright? So yeah, you'll need to find this somewhere around the map, and you need to go through this door, obviously. I don't think you can go through it without, clicking the blue button, so you need to click the blue button, alright? Anyways, once you're through the blue door, you will find a portal behind this blue door, and guess what? You have to go in this portal. Did you know that? You have to go in this portal. So yeah, you go in the portal, and it will teleport you to another area, and in this area, you will have some, alien guy in a tube, and guess what? You need to touch this guy, alright? Yeah, you gotta touch. So yeah, once you touch this guy, you will finally get the badge, alright? So this is for a greater cause, alright? Hopefully the alien doesn't mind, but yeah, you gotta touch him, alright? And you will get the badge. Unusual authority. Pardon me. Alright, so the third badge I'm gonna teach you guys is a badge called Master Script, alright? And yes, this is a badge that you can actually get. Don't worry, this is not a limited badge. You can actually get this thing. So basically what you need to do is go to the old lobby, alright? So you have your current lobby, and you gotta go to the old one, alright? And the player does this by going on this invisible thingy, alright? So in the lobby, you will need to find this thing that you can't see, and you need to step on that thing and go up it, alright? I'll show you a video of how this looks, and you need to copy the guy that's doing it, alright? And if you don't copy him, you're not gonna get this badge, alright? Sorry to say. So yeah, once you're on this invisible thingy, you'll need to go up to this teleporter. So it goes up, and it'll go to this teleporter, right? And once you touch this bad boy, you're going to the old lobby, alright? And this is where you need to be. So once the player is in the old lobby, they will need to find the billboard, alright? So in the old lobby, there's gonna be this billboard that's on the wall. It's hard to miss it, alright? You will see it, and if you don't see it, what are you doing? So yeah, you'll see the billboard, you will need to click it, alright? And once you click it, guess what? You will not get the badge, alright? You will not get it yet. What will happen is you will be teleported into a completely other game. That's right, a completely other game, alright? This is getting crazy, alright? So you will be sent to this weird cloudy area, alright? This weird cloud game. And once you're here, you will finally get your precious badge, alright? That's all you need to do. And once you're in this cloud area, you can leave, alright? There's nothing you can do here, except I'm pretty sure there's some weird lore stuff to it. I'm not gonna talk about it. Yeah, I don't really get it, but yeah, there is some weird story stuff here. If that interests you, I will talk about the lore later in this video, but not right now. But yeah, that's how you get the Master Script badge. Enjoy. Alright, so I'm gonna be talking about one more badge before I move on. This badge is called the Checkmark Badge. Actually, that's a lie. It's not called that. It's just a tick symbol. And yes, you can get this badge. Don't worry, alright? So if you want to get it, you can get it. So I'm gonna show you how to get it. So the player is first required to do the obby, alright? And if you don't know what the obby is, you want to join the game, and you will just see this obby in the lobby, alright? That rhyme. There's an obby in the lobby, and you need to do that obby, except not the whole thing. You need to go halfway through the obby, and you need to stop, alright? You need to stop in your tracks halfway through, alright? I'll show you where to stop. What you need to do is you need to face the left, and you need to walk on forward, and you will be on this invisible platform, alright? Anyways, that won't matter because you need to fall off it, alright? You need to purposely fall off it. Once you do, you will hit the bottom of the pit, alright? And you will be teleported to another game called Sam's Resting Place. Yep, you're teleported to another game. It's called Sam's Resting Place. And wouldn't you know, Sam is there. And you may be wondering, who the hell's Sam? Who are you? Who are you, punk? Well, don't worry, guys. I talk about Sam later in this video. He's kind of a big fat bad guy, I think, in the story, if I understand it right. He kind of looks not that scary. He's just a teddy bear, but yeah, he's the main guy, the main bad guy. Anyways, you're meeting this guy. You know, that's a privilege. You meet this guy, and he will say a few things. Boring things. They don't really mean anything. What you need to do is not care about what he's saying, and what you need to type in chat is this code. And this code is very specific, and so much so, I'm a little bit worried that it's different for every player, but for the video I watched, they used this specific code, which I'm about to tell you. I don't know where you get this code from. I don't know who figured this out, but I'm gonna tell you this code. So, pucker up your ears ears, because I'm about to tell you this code. It's very long, alright? Here we go. It's numbers. Here we go. 21244904005. That is the code. Apparently you need to type that in. Once you do, you will get your sweet old checkmark badge. Hey, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's cool. Nice. Skins. Alright, so now we're gonna be moving on to skins. So you know how in Bear, you play as Bear, right? Well, guess what? You can change how Bear looks. And we're gonna be talking about these different looks, also known as skins. Now, some of these skins have interesting stories or backstories, and other skins don't have any story or backstory at all. And we're not gonna be talking about those ones. We're gonna be talking about the interesting ones. Now, one thing I noticed about Bear and its skins before we move on, a lot of those skins are very crude. I'll say that, crude. The skins are just weird. Like, some of them are like really weird. Like, what is this? You know, like, okay. And there's also this skin, and there's that skin, and there's also this skin. You know, they look cool, I guess, but also they make me feel weird. There's something uncanny about it, and maybe that's the point, but there's just so many of these weird, messy skins. Anyways, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the main boys that aren't weird. You'll see what I mean. Alright, so if we're gonna be talking about skins in Bear, we might as well talk about Bear, the default skin. So you may think Bear's kind of boring, or like, you know, there's nothing interesting to talk about, but you're wrong. Bear has a big story to tell. And I'm not sure about you, but have you guys ever wondered about the image of Bear? Like, where does this come from? Like, what is this thing? Yes, it's a bear doll, obviously, but where does this come from? What is this? So there is actually two stories to explain this image, and one of them is from the developer and another one is just from some other guy. But I don't actually believe the story from the developer himself, surprisingly, because you would think he would tell the actual story because he made the game, right? Well, I don't actually believe his version of the story. I believe the other version. So the developer's his explanation for this image is the bear you see in Bear, the default skin, is the developer's bear. Like, he owns the bear. And something interesting to note is, according to the Wikipedia page for Bear, the original image that was going to be used for Bear was going to be very different. And I will show you the image that was going to be used. It is this image. And once you look at that, that's not very scary, is it? It looks kind of stupid. So, according to the developer, this is the original image that was going to be used, and that bear in this image is the same bear as the current one. Yes, these two thingies are the same thing somehow. Now, according to the developer, the reason for this is that the bear shown in the old image, this little guy, he was thrown into the washing machine by the developer's mom. The mom's got to clean stuff, so they threw the teddy bear in there. And that was a bad idea, because when they took the teddy bear out of the washing machine, the stuffing came out, and you do not want that to happen. No, that is not good. So yeah, the stuffing came out, and that's just the first thing that happened. Alright, so this is not it. There's still more stuff to happen. So the stuffing came out, and now the bear is skinnier, right? It's not gonna be as chubby. The next thing the nose on the bear, that little black thing on teddy bears, well, that fell off. Apparently, according to the developer, it fell off for whatever reason. And the mother of the developer saw this. They're like, oh, the nose fell off. Well, let's fix that. And you know how they fixed it? They got a pen out and they drew a nose on it. So that's why in the game, Bear's got this, this little drawn little thing on his face. That is because his actual nose fell off, apparently. Alright. And last but not least, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, in some point in time, the game developer with this broken toy was just like, hey, let's strangle this thing. So yeah, one day he just strangled the teddy bear, and because he did that, he managed to squeeze it so much, the neck of the teddy bear just ended up looking like this. this, elongated and weird. So, you know, that gave the iconic bear neck. So, yeah, I don't know what he was doing, strangling his bear, but he did it. And yeah, thanks to that, we've got this weird neck thing. I don't know how that works, because the neck doesn't look like it's been strangled. Yes, it's long, but it kind of just looks stitched together, to be honest. So if you just got freaked out by the story I just told you, good news. I don't think this story is true. The story I believe in is this thing some other guy said, and that is the bear sprite is actually a picture of a doll called Psy Bear. And Psy Bear is basically a plush that is manufactured in Africa, out of all places. And if I remember correctly, the material they use to make these bad boys is out of like sandals or something. Sandals, I think. So yeah, I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I searched up Psy Bear from Africa, and wouldn't you know, the images I got looked very similar to the bear in Bear. So I was like, wait, hold on, wait a minute. Didn't the developer have a bear that he strangled and put in the washing machine and beat up or something? Well, no, apparently. This is what it is. It's an African bear. And yeah, I believe this story more because, well, it just makes more sense, and also it just seems more realistic to me. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the developer really did strangle his bear and throw it in the washing machine, and he just so happened to accidentally make a bear that looks exactly like another bear that's made in Africa. Who knows? But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Alright, so the next skin I'm going to be talking about is a kind of weird skin. Well, actually, a lot of the skins in Bear are kind of weird. But this skin, I don't know. I thought it was pretty weird. Its name is Crustification. Yeah, I don't know what that means. I don't know what Crustification means, but maybe we don't want to know. Maybe we don't want to know. But it's called Crustification, and it looks weird. Like it's the bear skin, but it's like looking up for whatever reason. Yeah, pretty cool. So if you're watching this video and you want to get this skin and you don't have it already, bad news. You're not going to be able to do that, unfortunately, because if you want to get this skin, all you need to do is have the first day of April badge. As you know, if you were watching through the video, I've already shown you guys how to get this badge. Problem is, you can only get it around like April 1st, and it goes quick, alright? It goes pretty damn quick. So, well, I don't know why I'm saying that, because it's already over. You can't get it. You have to wait till next year. Sorry, guys. But the reason I want to bring up this skin in the first place is the sprite, the image for this skin. Apparently the image for this skin is really old. Well, not really old, but it's old, and it comes from a Scratch account. A 2012 Scratch account called Whitey999, and I believe this is a Scratch account owned by the developer of Bear, years before Bear was even made. And it's actually interesting to look through, because a lot of the projects on the Scratch account actually show a lot of like Bear stuff, you know, just a lot of, you know, secret goodies, I guess. Like at the time he didn't know he was gonna make Bear, but you know, there's Bear stuff in here. So if you're obsessed with Bear, take a look at the Scratch account. So yeah, Crustification, the image used for it came from this Scratch account, and it is clearly shown in this one project called Who is Your Favorite? Who is your favorite? And if you take a look at the project, it's a little bit weird. Like, I don't know what it's for. I think the developer was like really young when he made this, or you know, he spelt favorite wrong. And yeah, you can see the Crustification skin there, which is, you know, that's cool. That's pretty cool. The running animation for the skin is also pretty cool because it looks weird, and the running animation actually comes from a Scratch project as well, and it's called Add Yourself Ruining from Evil Scratch. Pretty cool name, right? So yeah, it's one of those Scratch projects. I don't really get the purpose of these projects, but it's one of those where it's like, oh, add your character doing this with other people. So yeah, it was one of those, and yeah, you can see Crustification running away from Evil Scratch. This is pretty crazy. Alright, so the third quote-unquote skin that I want to talk about is a skin called Sam. And as you guys know, I already talked about Sam earlier in this video, for that badge I was talking about. I say quote-unquote skin because he's not really a skin. Like, yes, you can wear him as a skin, but he's also a big fat character in the story as well. Like, he's not just a skin. So, like I said earlier, Sam's sort of just like the main bad guy in Bear. And he's basically the main reason why these bear things want to kill us. And like the entire reason like the games even exist. I will explain why this is later in the video when I explain like some of the story. But yeah, Sam's basically a douchebag. And yeah, he's just a douche. So Sam is like Bear in that he is, well, you know, a bear. And if you just take a look at the image, you can see that Sam's like, he's not as scary as like the normal bear skin. Like he isn't strangled or anything. In fact, Sam actually looks like the old image for the normal bear skin. Pardon me. So yeah, maybe it's the old image. I don't know. Maybe it's Bear before he went to war or something. But yeah, he looks way less damaged. And you know, he's just a little guy. You know, he's just a little guy. But no, he's not a little guy. He's actually really mean. And I'm pretty sure Sam was like a boss fight during like a Christmas event for Bear. Like you could straight up just have a boss fight with this guy. You can't do it anymore, but that happened. I believe Sam was available in the shop for a limited time. There was no special way to get him. He was just available in the shop for a very, very high price because, you know, he's Sam. Of course he's going to be expensive. But unfortunately, I don't think you can get him anymore. So if you want to buy him, sorry guys, you can't. Alright, so the last skin I want to talk about is Bob, or B.O.B. Now, I've played Bear a little bit myself, and my favorite skin, if I had to choose one, would probably be Bob. And I don't know, he's just a cute little guy, you know, look at him, he's cute. Now, what's interesting about Bob is, he's actually a 3D skin. Unlike most other skins, which are 2D, Bob is 3D. So, you know, he's trying to be special, and he succeeds. Now, Bob is a very popular skin, well, it used to be. I don't know if people still use him, but whenever I played Bear, I would use Bob all the time, and everyone else would. And I'm pretty sure in the shop, he only costs like 666 coins, you know, the devil's number. But when you think about it, that's not actually that much. And, you know, Bob's a cool looking skin, and yeah, a lot of people just like playing as Bob. And Bob is clearly popular because the developer of the game, or the developers, have added a lot of variants of Bob into the game. If I remember right, I'm pretty sure there's like Rob, there's Tob. I wouldn't be surprised if there was XOB, Xob. But yeah, there was a lot of Bob variants. Not gonna lie, if I ever play Bear again, I kind of want to unlock a Bob variant. But yeah, Bob's cool. Though in the story, which I will talk about later, apparently Bobs are a different species to the bears in the lore. So Bob and Bear are just different things. They're a different creature. So I don't know, I thought that was interesting. But yeah, that's Bob for you, and that's skins for you. The story. Alright guys, we're now into the big fat juicy bits, alright? That sounded kind of wrong. Anyways, we're gonna be talking about the lore of Bear. And this is when things start getting complicated, alright? Because I wanted to do this for this video, because, you know, I thought it would be interesting. And boy, this is slightly complex, so I'm gonna try my best to tell you guys the story of Bear. I do admit I'll probably have to dumb down a few things or summarize a few things because the story is just too big, too crazy, and yeah, it's just really big. Alright, sorry, that sounded wrong. So from what I understand, Bear Alpha and Bear Correction, these are two separate games, as you guys will know. Apparently these two games have different stories. So yes, they're both about Bear, but they're both set in different universes or different continuities or timelines, whatever you want to call them. They're set in different stories, alright, just to summarize it. So I took a look at both stories for this video. I took a look at Bear Alpha and Bear Correction, and Bear Alpha has a more confusing story, I found. And also more of its stories up to interpretation. None of it, like, some of it is confirmed, but a lot of it is sort of like wishy-washy, like what's true, what's not true, you know? And I took a look at Bear Correction, and their story makes a little bit more sense, but the story's still crazy. Like, I'm gonna explain it to you guys. You're gonna see what I mean in a second, but the story's still kind of crazy, but it makes more sense than Bear Alpha. And also, it's less wishy-washy. Like, there's more consistency within the story. Less of it is up to interpretation. There's more confirmation within the story. So for today's video, I've decided to go with Bear Correction's story. Bear Asterisk? Is that what you call it? The star thingy? I'm just gonna call it Bear Correction. But yeah, that's what we're gonna be going with in today's video. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a drink and a snack as I tell you the story of Bear Correction. Alright, so I'm using the Wikipedia page as my main source to explain all this stuff. And they've split it up nicely into different sections. And the first section is 1970. And to kick things off, we've got this nice little guy called Henry McMaster. And he creates a business, a cheese business. And the name of this business is a really creative name. The Cheese Corporation. Henry McMaster is a survivor skin and Bear Correction. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, he made the Cheese Corporation, which is basically the main source for all the havoc, I guess. So yeah, the Cheese Corporation is made, and later that year, the cheese factory is built. So that's basically the building where the business goes, obviously. So once the cheese factory is built, people start working at the cheese factory, alright? You can't have a business without people working for you. That's a lie, but yeah. So yeah, people just start working there, and one of those people working at the factory is this little guy who goes by the name of Sam. Ring any bells? That's right, this guy working at the factory is the same guy who was in that little weird area we went to get those badges. Yes, this is the teddy bear guy, the small teddy bear guy. That is Sam. So since Sam is working at the cheese factory, he is granted a high spot in the business. Because apparently, according to the Wikipedia page, Sam is a loyal worker who is dedicated to the company. So, of course, you gotta give him a high spot in the factory. So, Sam is basically a dumbass, and he is also an asshole, I guess, because, yes, Sam is dedicated to the company. Yes, he is given a high spot, but I guess you can say he abuses his power because he just does weird shit with the company, the cheese company, and if it wasn't for Sam, like, Sam is the main reason for Bear even existing. Like, if Sam was not in this business, we wouldn't have any Bear, okay? We wouldn't have any games, alright? So yeah, Sam is given a high spot in the company, but surprise, surprise, Sam's a dickhead, and he abuses his power. He just does weird shit with the company. He does weird stuff that isn't needed. So now we're getting into the year after 1970. We're getting into post 1970, and after 1970, some point in time, this thing called violaxum is discovered at the cheese factory. I feel like this is a good time to tell you guys, this is when the story gets a little bit complicated and a little bit stupid, but all you really gotta know is Sam is at the cheese factory, and this thing called violaxum is discovered at the cheese factory. So yeah, after this violaxum thing is discovered, the cheese factory incident occurs. And I'm pretty sure this is a pretty significant event in the game. Basically, the cheese factory incident involves Sam messing around with the... Okay, this is when it gets weird. Sam, he starts messing around with the positive and negative energies of violaxum. And also, he has a gasoline and a lighter, of course. So he messes around with that, because everyone does that, right? And because of Sam fucking around with the violaxum him and the gasoline and lighter. He kills one of the bears at the factory. The Wikipedia page just says bears, but I'm assuming that means one of the workers there, unless there was just some random bear at the factory for whatever reason. This bear that got killed, it just comes back to life. It just comes back to life. It's somehow revived, and it becomes this thing called atrocity. And if you want to know what atrocity is, here it is. It looks like this. Yup, really cool. This is a skin in the game that you can wear. And yeah, it's ugly. What is that? So yeah, atrocity is basically this weird looking bear skin. And if you want to know the backstory, he was just a bear at the factory that was killed because of Sam. That's a little bit sad. Alright, so after this atrocity guy shows up, of course, the bear apocalypse begins. So if you're wondering what the bear apocalypse is, think of bear, alright? You're playing bear. What is going on? You're getting chased by bear. That is basically the bear apocalypse. All the bear games are set in the bear apocalypse, alright? That's basically, I'm pretty sure that's what it is from what I understand. So yeah, if you're ever playing bear, just think to yourself, oh damn, I'm in the bear apocalypse right now. So yeah, that's basically what it is. Pretty crazy stuff, alright? It gets a little bit scary. Alright guys, so now we're into the section of the story where it's set in the 2000s. This is when things start getting really complicated. If you thought the story was slightly like confusing before or a little bit weird, this is when things get just really weird, okay? This is a weird time, alright? Pardon me. I don't know why I keep burping. Alright, so to kick off the 2000s, this random person called Shiro Ito, they are sent to the Anomoia. I have no idea what that is, but I'm gonna explain it to you the best way that I can. So if you're wondering who Shiro Ito is and who they are in relation to Bear, they have no relation to Bear. They're just some random ass person, but they're important because Shiro Ito is a random person who lived in Bear City. And if you're wondering what Bear City is, it's basically a significant location in Bear. Like, it's Bear City, right? Of course it's gonna be significant. So yeah, Shiro Ito lived in Bear City, and they basically entered the elevator that is in the lobby of the game. I actually can't confirm this because I can't remember the lobby, but apparently in the Bear lobby there's an elevator, alright? Anyways, at some point in time in the 2000s, Shiro Ito went into this elevator in the lobby, and guess what? When they were in the elevator did not stop. It just kept going down, alright? I have no idea where Shiro Ito wanted to go, but wherever they wanted to go, they did not go there. They just kept going down. So of course, just like any other normal person, Shiro Ito started freaking out, alright? They were like, hey, what's going on? Why am I still going down? So of course, they pressed the emergency button, and that didn't do shit. So yeah, they're going down the elevator, and the doors finally open. But instead of being greeted with like a normal thing, the elevator opens to the Anomia. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Anomia. Anyways, clearly this is not where Shiro Ito wanted to go. But they're stuck here. They can't get out of here. This is where they are. This is where they live now. So yeah, basically, this is Bear's version of the back rooms. And yeah, Shiro Ito just didn't get lucky, I guess. So yeah, during Shiro Ito's time in Anomia, she is transformed into Ito. Alright? Sorry, this is getting so stupid, like confusing. So yeah, if you stay too long in the Anomia, I guess you just transform into a monster. As you can see here, Shiro Ito gets all this black stuff on her, and yeah, she isn't looking too good. And then after that, she turns into this thing, which is called Ito. And yes, this is a bear skin, and yeah, this doesn't look good. But apparently this is what happens when you stay too long in the Anomia. So yeah, don't go in elevators, and yeah, don't go there. So yeah, if you thought that was already weird, it gets a little bit weirder. You know how I said Shiro Ito went in that elevator and she was taken to the Anomia? And you know how I said the Anomia is basically Bear's version of the backrooms? Well, guess what? Bear has the backrooms. So apparently some people who went in the elevator and it kept going down, instead of going to the Anomia, some of them just straight up went to the backrooms. Of course, why not? Don't know why, but yeah, some of them just went into the backrooms. Rest in peace. aliens. So yeah, after all the trouble, you know, after all this backroom stuff and Anomia stuff, this thing called the organism is created. I don't know what the organism is exactly, but it came to be because apparently some random scientists who were just in Bear City or something, there was just some random scientists experimenting with this item, and this is an actual item in Bear. It's called the Love Bug plush, and basically these random ass scientists were just playing around with this item, and in doing so they accidentally created the organism, and at some point the Love Bug plush becomes Love Bug, which is this thing. Yes, this thing is ugly as hell, but yep, this is what happened. And this thing, Love Bug, controls the organism, and as a result of this, the organism spreads across the world. So isn't that great? The world is just getting destroyed. So yeah, from what I understand, the organism is just this weird, infectious thing, and yeah, you don't want it to, you just don't want it, alright? You don't want it. So yeah, apparently the organism infects areas, which is the reason why the old lobby is evacuated. They are evacuated by this thing called the Star Confederacy. I have no idea who the Star Confederacy is. They kind of just came out of nowhere, like the Wikipedia page just mentioned them out of nowhere. Excuse me. If you actually play Bear, which you most likely do, you probably know who the Star Confederacy is. I don't. But they just came out of nowhere and they evacuated the old lobby. So you know how we were talking about badges earlier, and you needed to go to the old lobby? Well, that needed to be gone because the organism was there. Yep, that's why it's gone, because the organism was there. So yeah, apparently the SWAT, yep, the SWAT came in, and they just came in and they defeated the organism, and they did it in this map in the game called the Terra Tolivard. So yeah, the SWAT came in and they just got things sorted, and yeah, we lived happily ever after, I guess. But no, we do not live happily ever after. Wanna know why? Because after the SWAT defeats the organism, people at Bear City start reporting alien sightings. Yup, if you thought it couldn't get any worse with the bears and the organism and the backrooms, no, we got alien sightings now. And guess what? You thought the organism was defeated? Wrong! The organism comes back, apparently, but as a weaker version. It's not as strong, fortunately, but it comes back. And remember that Love Bug thing I just mentioned to you guys? Well, they're just defeated by the SWAT. Yeah, they're just gone now. Doesn't matter. They're defeated by the SWAT, okay? Apparently. And guess what, guys? You thought, guess what? So Love Bug is defeated, right? The next thing that I'm told is, all the survivors, they use a machine that comes out of nowhere, just some machine that leads them to a different planet. That's right. I don't know where this machine came from, but, people are using it to go to different planets. Yeah, this story is not complicated at all. So yeah, apparently on this different planet, the survivors meet this weird, green Viking guy. I don't know who this green Viking guy is, but he's there, and he basically tells the survivors to, piss off and get off his planet. I mean, understandable, I guess. Like, it would be a little bit annoying, wouldn't it? One last bit in the story I'm gonna tell you guys. After all these alien sightings and backrooms and going to different planets, the most crazy thing happens. Some random ass psycho escapes the Greenton Asylum, which is one of the maps in Bear Correction. Yeah, pretty important event in the story. I don't know what this psycho guy does. I'm pretty sure he's a nice guy. But yeah, I'm gonna leave the story there because as you guys can see, the story isn't that simple, and I can see why it might be hard to follow along, because I was wondering why. I searched up Bear's story explained on YouTube and barely any videos came up. I was like, what? Where's all the explanation videos? And I was jolly about it. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be the first to do it. But now I kind of see the problem. The story can't really just be explained. I wouldn't be surprised if I got some things wrong. So yeah, if I got anything wrong, feel free to let me know in the comments. But yeah, that's basically my understanding of the Bear story, or at least the Bear Correction story. So yeah, that's basically what happened. That's the Bear story. Yeah, who would have thought that Bear was about aliens and psychos and traveling to different planets? Whenever I play the game, I see none of that. I see no planets and stuff, but hey, that happened apparently. Pretty cool. Finishing up. Alright guys, I'm gonna leave it there. It's time to say goodbye. Thank you guys for watching to the end, as usual. I hope this video was informative and you, I don't know, learned something new about Bear. I apologize if I got any information wrong. But yeah, I actually learned a few things myself just making this video. And I did not know that Bear was just so complicated and, sorta crazy. I didn't realize it was a crazy game. I didn't know it was like a Marvel Cinematic Universe story. Yeah, it's cool. I sound like I'm complaining, but no, that's cool. It sounds like a lot of passion went into the Bear games, and I respect the developer for, you know, putting thought into just the games, I guess, and its story, you know, it's fun. It definitely sounds like he's had fun with the story and the games. I'm happy for him, honestly. So yeah, like I said, guys, I'm gonna leave it here. Hope you guys learned something new. If you didn't, well, watch my other videos. Maybe you'll learn something then. Anyways, thank you guys. Love you guys as usual. And hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.